Ladies and gentlemen, today a review of Scream 6. Before I begin, I'm going to read a synopsis from IMDb. In the next installment of the Scream franchise, the survivors of Ghostface killings leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter in New York City. I did rent and watch Scream 5 before I watched this one, just to get my head back in the game for this one. I have watched the other Scream movies as well, and I think it's important to mention that this movie is really a true sequel of Part 5. And this movie really does carry that story all the way through. And the continuation of Scream 5 means that we follow the further adventures of Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, and the Martin twins. In Scream 5, Melissa Barrera was good, but I didn't really think that what they did with her character really kind of worked for the entire plot. It ultimately was satisfying for sure, and you can understand her character beats. But in this one, she is far better. Her character is more realized. I think Melissa Barrera, even as an actress, has just grown in this one as well. I think Melissa's performance is far better in this one as well. Jenna Ortega also is a true delight. I can see why she is just absolutely killing it and blowing up right now. Now, this is a Scream movie, so there are certain things that Scream movies do that kind of fit the Scream mold. But as soon as the picture begins, you realize that the filmmakers here really wanted to do something for their own. Now, that's not to say that this isn't a Scream movie through and through. It is, with all of the tropes, with the whodunit, the exposition dump with the rules, with the characters trying to reason their way into surviving this film because they truly do believe they are in a movie. Therein lies the real charm of these films. They take themselves only seriously enough for you to really feel for the characters enough to really be terrified for them. And I think this really does fulfill that in droves. If you're a Scream fan, this is a good time. And if you're not a Scream fan, this is a really good time as well. I will say that many people have said that this is possibly the best Ghostface that they've seen, and I have to say, this Ghostface is brutal, y'all. And the kills in this movie are inventive and scary and kind of a sight to behold for sure. Those are really worth the price of admission alone, for sure. And I think everything is really augmented by the fact that they've decided to take this movie from Woodsboro and into New York City. It's funny, there's actually a moment in this movie where you see a television and someone's watching Jason Takes Manhattan in just a kind of an homage moment, and I love that little touch. And yes, the setting of New York really does change the atmosphere of some of the really kind of incredible set piece kills here. There's a particular subway sequence in this that is just really fresh and fun and really makes you feel like you're alone even though you are surrounded by people and strangers. And the story and the plot are really injected with that powerful whodunit nature that really kind of reverberates throughout all of the Scream movies. And I think that's done here very well. Throughout the entire movie, you are just stuck in suspense of who might be Ghostface. And as characters are trying to really figure that out, you are held in suspense several times in this movie. And as characters are discussing their ideas and opinions of who it is, you as an audience member really do feel the tension between these characters because of course it might be somebody who's right there with you or someone you just met. That's just kind of how it works for Scream movies. I have to give big props to the directors of this movie, Matt Bettinelli and Tyler Gillett. They do such a great job with not just kind of copying Wes Craven's style and cinematography and just overall feel and tension. They do a lot to just infuse that in the movie while also allowing it to feel fresh. These are the same directors with Scream 5, and I think in that movie, it's still done really well there, but you can kind of tell that they are just kind of trying to copy that style and imprint it with some new life. Here, I think that they took that format and built on it and kind of elevated it in a way that really fit the setting and tone here. And there really is a large amount of exposition dumping. And like pretty much all Scream movies, the reveal in the third act always kind of throws you for a loop, and you just kind of have to suspend disbelief to really kind of believe it. I think that all of the reveals in the Scream movies kind of fall into that. This one's no different, for sure, but I forgive that because of just how much fun I had. Courtney Cox is one of the only original cast members that comes back for this movie. She's used pretty sparingly, but she has an arc here that is really satisfying. And there is a set piece with her towards the end of the movie that I think really works for her character. I give Scream 6 a 9.75 out of 10. A really fun, gory time at the movies. It is a Scream movie, so it follows those tropes, but the filmmakers here really did a lot to infuse some new into that formula. I think the performances here were elevated from Scream 5. A lot of that cast does return here. I have to say Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega are incredible together. They have fantastic chemistry. Their performances really sell what's happening in this movie. And I think I'm on the same page with a lot of other people reviewing this movie, that this Ghostface is probably one of the scariest. Seriously, some of the kills in this are crazy. Biggest criticisms here are really just what every other Scream movie does. Kind of a lot of exposition dumps, and the whodunit at the end, you really kind of have to suspend belief just a little bit to really believe it. But the filmmakers do a really good job to make sure that the whodunit suspense really does carry throughout the entire movie. A great bloody time at the movies. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the end, thank you. You are a rock star. Please subscribe, like, and comment. If you comment, I'll make sure to reply to you as quickly as possible. Thank you for following me on this journey. Have a good, great rest of your day. Go watch Scream 6. It's great.